Okay, so I will go right into the predictions of day 4. And yep, so let's get right into it. So FPX versus Damwon is the first game, and I think this game is going to basically decide the whole group. I mean, maybe it usually does end up like this, that the last couple of games are not that interesting because of this format. Actually, I get it that Riot wants to make the last day of groups interesting, so you play everything in one go, but at the same time, oftentimes the first two games decide because they are always against the first and second seed against and the third and fourth seed against each other. So that's exactly what happens here. And FPX versus Damwon, I feel like Damwon are just going to win this. I don't think that FPX are quite there yet, quite at the level where people were predicting them, and that just means that they are not good enough to beat Damwon. I think maybe if they had like more than a day or two, they could get to the point where they would actually beat Damwon, where they would maybe punish the issues they have in bot lane. But right now, I am not confident they will be able to do so. That being said, though, I think that FPX should put up much more of a fight than they did in their first game, and most crucially, based on this one game, you can extrapolate their match against C9 and ROG as well. Since FPX have changed their draft priority in the last game of the first round robin of groups, but they were for the first time on blue side. Now they are going to be starting on blue side as well, as are they going to start on blue side against C9, but their last game is on red side, back on red side. So I'm kind of worried because I feel like Rogue can very easily beat FPX. I mean, so can C9 to be honest, but if FPX can show that they understand the draft better than they did in the first 2 days, against Damwon, it doesn't almost matter whether they can beat them or not. It's enough for them to get out of the group from second seed, for seconds from second seed. And Damwon, I feel like, are going to just sail into victory in this group. So I'm going to predict Damwon here. Then ROG versus C9. I feel like C9 are just kind of exploding. I also think that if anything, ROG are not going to choke against C9. I feel like they know that they need to win this game, and they put up an impressive performance the first time around. I think Inspired, although he has been overhyped quite a lot, is still miles ahead of Blubber. I don't think Perks is all the way there. I think Perks is kind of like the faker of Europe. He has been great, but now he's just a shell of his former self. So I don't think that he is going to expose Larsen, sorry, not Inspired in any way. And Odo should have much easier time in top lane against Fudge. And this bot lane diff is going to be insane, I think, as well. Cloud9's bot lane has been underperforming so hard, while Hansama has been just carrying Tringbay over the finish line. And yeah, unless Rogue stumble hard in draft, which honestly it is possible. I mean, the draft against was it DK was horrible, and C9 could definitely expose some of their weaknesses, but I wouldn't count on it. And so I hope and think that Rogue are going to come up ahead of C9. And then FPX versus C9, I mean, I'm going to be boring here, guys, but I think that FPX are going to win. I think certainly they are not going to get away with the same thing as they did in the first time these two teams met. But I also think that FPX are not going to draft this terrible composition where they last pick fucking Malzahar and Doinb doesn't even know what to max, doesn't even know what to build. I feel like Doinb is just going to go for comfort. Either they are going to pick the Rise, I mean, take it away from Perks as well as keep it for themselves. But even if Rice is banned by C9, which I think actually would be the smartest strategy from them, because I think FPX are just willing to first pick it. I mean, we literally saw them first pick it in their series against Rogue. Was it against Rogue? Wait a sec, I just have to check very fast. Yes, in their game against Rogue, we saw them saw them first pick the Rise, so I don't see why they wouldn't do the same thing against C9. If anything, I think Perks is less of a threat to somehow counter Rise. I mean, the Syndra is definitely in Perks' wheelhouse, so that's one way where maybe if they practice real hard on the day off, which is today, they could maybe come up with the Syndra. It's one of those staples for Perks throughout his career. And then the Rogue and DK, I mean, DK should just take this. I feel like, I mean, the mid jungle duo is just too big of a difference unless Hansama somehow massively stomps bot lane. But I mean, last time around, can you even stomp harder than he did with the Lucian game? I also feel like DK are going to probably ban out bot lane now, as they have seen what happened. Last time they did not. The only saving grace for Rogue here is that they are on red side, so maybe they could DK could have too much things to ban. I feel like they might let the Yumi through, and if Rogue can secure the Yumi for themselves, maybe that is a way to upset here. Maybe DK disrespect the Yume and it comes back to bite them. But in all honesty, I'm not sure that the Rogue actually wins this with Yume even. I think that Trimby is pretty bad, and I'm kind of worried that Rogue don't even know how to use the Yume. I feel like maybe what happens is that Rogue just pick Orianna mate alongside Yume, and then they get just rolled over in early game, something like that. Rogue versus FPX, and now this is the interesting match. Again, I'm going to be boring because boring means you win more, and I'm going to predict FPX here. But, but as I said already, this game and this game are going to show a lot about FPX. It doesn't mean that if FPX lose this game, that they all of the sudden cannot get out of the group. If they lose this game, it's going to be pretty hard for FPX to get out of the group. But actually, they can still manage it. But you have to look at the draft, and from the drafts in these two games, you will know which of these teams is winning uh, the match between them. And the same goes for Rogue actually. If Rogue can have a nice draft against C9 and DK, it doesn't mean that they have to beat DK. Again, maybe DK are just too strong for this group, but if they have nice drafts against DK and FPX has a terrible draft against DK, that is going to show you a lot about who is going to win here and if Rogue can possibly upset FPX. Because the last time they met, which was yesterday, FPX just got everything they wanted, and Rogue kind of fumbled the draft at the last pick, and so it was quite an easy game and a pretty big stomp for FPX. Well, that does not have to happen. I feel like what are the win conditions for both teams? FPX definitely don't be on some playmaker on hopefully the Rise, maybe even Twisted Fate, although I'm not quite sure if Doinby is good enough to play Twisted Fate. Maybe the Silas as well, or he can pick some other crazy pick in mid lane. Then Nugure getting a good counter pick in top lane. I really hope that Nugure does not just blind something again, although with the level Odo has been playing at, that might be enough honestly to just beat him. Hopefully not though, hopefully he gets a nice matchup and just stomp top lane. And in bot lane I feel like FPX just have to play secure and not let Hansama run wild. Also Tien maybe should show up with his Lee Sin or the Viego. I'm pretty sure FPX have not picked the Viego into Lee Sin now. They have been banning a lot of Lee Sin. I feel like they should let it open and threaten or tempt Inspired with the Lee Sin. We have seen Inspired on Lee Sin, and I don't think it was all that impressive the way he played it. So I would certainly, if I was FPX on red side, I wouldn't ban Lee Sin. Instead, I would focus uh, on the bot lane. I would ban maybe Draven, Lucian, something like that. Just ban out as many ADCs, maybe ban the Yume as well, and just hope that Hansama doesn't do too much. I think all other lanes are just winning for FPX. Damwon versus C9. I mean, again, I feel like this is just going to be stomp for DK. It might be the last game of the group. It might not matter at all for both these teams, depending on how the previous games play out. So maybe DK just throw this one to C9. Maybe C9 are not going to have the pressure on them and upset DK because of it. So actually, I think there are a lot of ways that C9 can upset this one, but I'm not betting. I am just doing predictions, and so I will always go with DK because they simply have the higher chance to win. There are no odds here. Okay, and yep, that's it. That's it for day two. I mean for day four, for tomorrow, and we'll see if I was right, if I was wrong, if my predictions came true. And yep, see you.